now. Okay, we're live with sound. I'm coming to you from a somewhat perplexed place. There are certain things in this universe that we think of as eternal. Waterfalls, caves, unicorns, ovens, Matt. Ovens!
Really?
Yeah, ovens!
The eternal oven.
Yeah, who's ever changed or repaired an oven? You live in a house, there's an oven there, that oven is there forever, and that's it. That oven is there for today. Well, my wife was doing a live stream, so at least not me. The oven blew out all the circuit breakers or whatever, and it killed her stream, so that's good. But yeah, the oven died. The element just blew up.
Hang on a second. Your wife killed the entire house with a podcast?
No, hang on. Oh, hang on. Here, people watching on the stream now, you can just see the Doomscrolling. In a slight change, I will appear in the corner. Hello. So that you know it's not an audio-only podcast. And Matt will appear there. There he is. Yeah.
Ta-da.
Yeah, no, she wasn't doing a podcast, but, she does, streams to... Yeah. Sometimes she does, streams to, a bunch of schools at the same time. So she will, be displayed in multiple classrooms. It was one of the COVID things that we jumped on, and we saw that need, and we were like, are you paying too much for your teachers? Why not be one of 20 schools joining in the vocal works, stuff, and she'll stream basically to 20 schools at a time and go, Peterborough School, say you sing this bit. Okay, now Scotland School. Because Scotland's just one town.
Okay.
Yeah, you sing this bit. And so she was doing all of that. And then I turned the oven on for some pizza. And the whole thing just went pop. And it killed their stream. What it amusingly did do is it left one single child in charge of the call. Zoom, I guess, just defaulted. One kid was in charge. And he just went... And this kid just went, I'm in charge. And he just ran the class for 5 minutes, which was great. We've got Lauren here. I can make her appear magically. There's Lauren there in the corner. You can see her there. Look at her, all in blue.
Looking a bit fancy.
Yeah. You weren't looking that fancy half an hour ago, though, were you?
No, I was looking at my most disgusting half an hour ago.
Blobby, sweaty mess. But that is the price of fitness that you pay.
It is, yeah. You just get used to being a dripping, disgusting person.
Yeah. And, yeah, you made me say butt on the radio yesterday. That'll come up.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. Because I was talking about my calf exercises, and you were like, no.
Finally earned that 5 pounds.
Hang on.
I said glutes.
Yeah,
I said glutes.
I'll explain. I'll go into more detail. It was definitely your fault. But we've got some people here on the stream, and we're going to record it and put it out as a podcast, so that's good. So we just go to the scene of me. That's this one, and I'll play the intro music, and I'll say something clever. I've forgotten what I say in the Doomscrolling intro, but we'll go for it. Nope, that's Missed Apex. That's not going to work at all. Welcome to Doomscrolling. Put down your phone. Yeah, that'll work. Welcome to Doomscrolling, the successor to the Remain Indoors podcast, and now we're focusing on why everyone, and not just me, is very, very grumpy, looking at their phones, doom-scrolling through topics, deliberately making themselves angry. I'm also joined by another old angry dude. It's Matt Trumpets. Hello, Matt.
Well, hello there, Spanners.
Hi.
And blowing up your entire house's electrics. I mean, this is pretty good for you. This is almost catching things on fire.
Okay, you keep saying, oh, remember that time? You're always catching your house on fire. Only 2 times have I set my house on fire. Only 2 times, and this time it wasn't on fire at all. Okay, all that happened was I turned the oven on to put some pizza in for the kiddie winkles, and the element in the oven blew. And this is very distressing for me because this is my first house I've ever owned. We bought it 5 years ago. We bought a brand new oven. We put it in. I didn't even know. I just thought ovens were like a front door. Do you know what I mean? It's just like a part of the house. It had never occurred to me that you would have to buy a new oven or replace an oven. Yet here we were buying a new oven. We put it in. It was installed, and now it's broken. It's blown up, and it and thankfully it happened at a time when only my wife was live streaming, so it only ruined her work.
Well, that is fortunate. Although I feel sad for the kids eating pizza sickles.
No, I got to use the grill oven, you see, and I was smart because it's not a fan assisted oven, so I added the extra 20 degrees. Do you know what I mean? It's not my first rodeo. Fault finding expert here.
Yep. But yeah, I don't. Have we ever broken an oven? I try to think maybe we've had like a dodgy oven before. And gotten it replaced by the landlord, but I've never actually blown one up in the midst of using it.
Me neither. So I've now got to learn how to replace an element in an oven. I started the day in a very grumpy mood. My daughter said, "Dad, it's okay. I can give you a hug. That'll cheer me up." And that didn't work. That's just the rubbish idea of a 9-year-old. And then the oven went, and now I'm even more grumpy because that's basically my day ruined tomorrow. Let's see if we can get some sunshine from an Ely blogger. Ely's a town in Cambridgeshire. Girlrunninglate.com's Lauren Thomas is joining us. Hello, Lauren.
Hi, I feel that's a lot of pressure to try and make your day better.
Yeah, it's all riding on you.
Excellent.
Matt.
Make it worse. It's a better show that way.
Oh, yeah, that's an option as well.
Oh, can we just like lay into Spanish and just make fun of him for the whole time?
You can do, but do you know, I've had like the day I've had, like it's a normal day, normal things have happened, people have been mean on the internet or whatever. But for whatever reason, I'm like super grumpy today. And I've been grumpy all day. And then my wife went, "Is there anything I can do to make you feel better?" And I went, "Well, maybe, but I'm not." Is this insane, Lauren? I was like, "Well, maybe, but I'm not sure I want to be made to feel better. I feel like I'm in the state I'm supposed to be."
It's your age.
Yeah. Yep. And that's it. I'm like a grumpy old dude. I'm 41 and I'm grumpy. I said to her, it's like, "You're grumpy all the time. Why is it news that..." Yeah, okay, that didn't go down too well. But I said, "Why is it news that I'm grumpy? Why can't I just be grumpy and leave me alone? Why can't that be a thing?"
Oh, no, you should just... I mean, I get days like that. You just need to kind of embrace your grumpiness and just let it happen. There's no point trying to fight it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was trying to do. And that's why I figured I would just have a bunch of rum and cokes and jump on a live stream.
Are we allowed to drink on this live stream?
Oh my God, yes. It's almost compulsory.
And you're telling me this now?
Okay, don't worry. The next time me and Matt start waffling, just run and go and get booze.
They're literally here.
That's good. Or I was going to say, you've got a gentleman in your house, just scream. Just, "Mr. Thomas, go get me booze."
If he appears, and then you'll see him moving behind me. So if he appears, let me know and we'll tap him up for a drink.
We will do that. I have to thank you, Lauren. You saved me yesterday. I had to jump in and do some super sub radio. I like that when they call you up and they go, "Are you available right now to do some radio because someone can't do it?" And then you have to slow play and go, "Oh, well, obviously I'm busy being an international media icon, but I'll see what I can do. I could move a few things around." And here's the funny thing, though. They once I agree to do it, they say, "Oh yeah, we'll get details of the rate over." I went, "Oh yeah, I forgot to negotiate." I said, "I won't do it for a penny more than X." And they went, "Well, we always just pay Y." I went, "Fine." And that'll do. But with no content going out, I can always rely on Lauren to jump on and give me some good radio content.
Yeah, I'm pretty reliable that I'll have nothing else on. So.
But it's fun, isn't it? The buzz of like jumping on like just even like local radio and just being live and talking about stuff. I don't think there's anything quite like it in like media space, because there's just you and me. No, there's no grown-ups telling us what to say, and we could just chat about anything. There was quite a lot of yelling.
I mean, you say that it's just nice and easy and chatting. I actually went on Facebook and I was saying to my friends, "I'm going to swear. I'm really worried that I'm going to swear on BBC Radio Cambridgeshire because I'm a bit notorious for it." So I was just the whole time just trying not to swear.
So do you just behave yourself around me? Because I've never seen you as particularly sweary.
Have you not?
No.
It's my nickname in the running club.
Oh, is
sweary.
It?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, I think when you're running, I think that if you're running or you're from New York, you get like special dispensation, Matt. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, well, New York is sort of your default attitude because, like, breathing in New York is oftentimes a severe challenge, never mind actually accomplishing even the simplest of errands.
But you said your kid started, like, getting acclimatized to swearing quite early.
Yeah, I believe it was around age 3 or 3.5. She was dropping F-bombs grammatically correctly in regards to things she owned.
With skill.
Yes.
A deft swearing. Yeah, and with my kids, so they're 9 and 11 now. They're in middle school. They know every swear word. All the swearing goes on around them. They're completely aware of it. But if they hear me swear, it's still shocking. And they still go, Dad! I'm like, as if you're not hearing way worse than that, like day in, day out at school.
So it's another reason for me to not have children, quite frankly.
Yeah,
They would just be
exactly.
absolutely monstrous.
Yeah, it's all piling up, isn't it? The reasons for you to not have children are all piling up.
There are many.
Yeah, there are many. But now that the kids stay up later, because you just can't get a 9 and a 10-year-old to go to bed at 7 or 8 anymore, they are awake in the Chardonnay zone. So more and more, I'll be telling a story after a glass of plonk, and then I'll be going, and this absolute turnip, and Dad, I can't believe it.
Just wait till they get older. It won't just be the Chardonnay zone they invade.
Yeah. Oh no, mate. No, we're there. I know what you're talking about, and thank goodness we both work from home during the week. That's all I'm going to say. Thank goodness we both work from home. Otherwise, just all bets are off. But yes, absolutely. Once kids get older, they stay up increasingly late. And hey, why is your door shut, Mum and Dad? None of your business. Yeah, there's all that kind of stuff. Right, let's talk fitness, because that's why we bring Lauren on. Lauren, if it wasn't for you, I genuinely think I might be about 3 stone heavier right now. You have been somewhat of a muse over the last couple of years with your infectious fitness energy. And I feel like the fact that my face isn't entirely round is largely down to you, actually.
Just because I guilt you into it, don't I?
Yeah, you're really judgy.
I am quite judgy, but only to you, to be fair. I'm really nice to the people that I coach running. Really nice.
Well, they're sort of like either clients or part of a kids group. So you've got the motivation to be. I'm a lech. I scrounge off you coaching wise. I'm like, oh, Lauren, maybe you can talk about it on the radio or a hardly listened to podcast if you be my running coach for a bit.
Well, I mean, I do get something out of it because, I get to make fun of you a little bit and that makes me laugh. But to be fair, I mean, when we've done the park runs together, it has been a lot of fun and you are sort of picking up stuff from me. So it's quite nice to know that I am actually helping you in some small way.
No, I pick so much stuff up from you. So yesterday we were talking about the breathing and you gave me a great piece of advice. Live on radio, you made me say the word butt on radio because I told you that I was working my calves. So I was like weightlifting on my calves and I was finding that was helping me spring on my toes. Because I feel like I've been a bit flat-footed running. And you were like, no, you've got to work your glutes. And I couldn't remember what glutes were. And I was like, glutes? Is that glutamus maximus? Oh, butts. And I ended up saying butts on the radio. I said, right. But once you've said butts, you either have to apologize for saying butts or you have to just go with it. So I said butts like 4 more times to super make sure that it was okay to say butts on the radio.
So you got to embrace the butts then.
Yeah, embrace the butts.
It could have been a lot worse.
It could have been, definitely. So I talked about butt exercises, and today I used we'll talk about the machine I have in my garden at the minute, but I did butt exercises where I was like standing still and I had like a strap on my ankle attached to some weights on a pulley, and then I pulled my ankle back as far as I could.
Oh, so like donkey kicks?
Yeah. But with a straight leg kicking back. Is that a butt exercise?
If you're feeling in the glute, it's a butt exercise. What you can do, if you've got one of those elastic bands, put that around your ankles and do like little crab walk side to side. And that kind of, you go into like a little bit of a squat and then just walk from side to side, just using the resistance band around your ankles.
So from that crabbing motion works my butt?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought I would have to go backwards to work my butt.
I mean, if you don't want it up on your ankles, you can actually put it above the knee, over your thigh as well, as long as there's kind of resistance on your leg that stops you from sort of opening your legs too wide.
Right. So one of our chat roomers is very interested in what the advantages of having a running coach might be, as they've only ever gone with what hurts and what doesn't.
I mean, they'll teach you good form. They'll teach you breathing exercises. They'll give you supplementary training to work around your running. Because, I mean, personally, I don't think you should just run. I think you should do strength and conditioning and things like Pilates as well to make sure you're kind of working different muscles. Yeah, there's lots of different things, and mentally they can help you as well. So I always say that running is 80% head, 20% leg.
Yeah.
And they can definitely help you through these kind of blocks that you can get with running sometimes.
I remember you getting to grips with my mentality on a run. So there was one point where you were telling me like, yeah, we're a third of the way through. Well done. And for me, I was thinking, oh no, I thought we were much further along than that. So you learned, right. Okay, let's get a bit longer with spanners before we talk
learn what works for the person you're running with. And for you, telling you how far you are into the run was not the way to go. Not until you're about 400 meters from the finish, and then you were kind of good to go.
Yeah, I do. I was good I'm good for a glory sprint.
Definitely, you were definitely good for a glory sprint
for the cameras at the end, because there's like we when you're running with me and we did our park runs, we're not quite halfway. We're a little ahead of halfway of the pack. Yeah. So there's all the best runners are already at the finish, judging you as you jiggle over the line.
They are not judging. They're just fast.
Judging.
They are very judgy.
Yeah, they're super.
The ones at Cambridge Park Run were always absolutely lovely, but there have been I have met some judgy types in the past.
So the question was it who asked the question, Matt?
That would be Rolando Bravium.
Oh, hello, Rolando. I believe joining us from Mexico, where there's a Grand Prix coming up. A fellow Perez fan. Oh, hello. Let's say some names that are in the live chat. Hello, Josh. Hello, Matteo. We've got a McLaren F1 race. It's not a very good name. We've got John in there, Martin, and EJ as well. A very international Paul Wright as well. Paul Wright can do 5K. Paul, tell us what your 5K time is. It's something like 15 seconds.
It's mad, isn't it? You've told me about
like 15
before.
minutes or something like
15 minutes. It's insane.
We've got Phil in there as well. Oh, wow. It's quite a packed chat room today. But asking about the benefits of having a running coach, I have found a few running people on TikTok and such things like that, because I do want to actually work on the technique and grow on what you've been teaching me as well. And footfall was one of the interesting things about where you should place your foot as part of the stride. My instinct is always to basically, be like a big stridey stick man reaching out in front of me. And I found one running coach who was saying, no, you want to be pounding the floor right underneath your body. And that seems quite counterintuitive.
Yeah, if you slow down any of the really fast runners like Mo Farah or the Brownie brothers, look at where their foot falls when it hits the ground. It should be directly underneath your hip. So if you're hitting your heel, you're overstriding. So if you think about when you're running, the only way you can land on your heel is if you're striding too far. If you're striding the right amount, your foot should just fall beautifully underneath the hip.
Yeah,
but
the instinct is you're running, so reach ahead of you as far as you can.
No, you kind of need to increase the cadence, not increase the stride.
Okay.
So you want to turn your feet over faster if you want to move faster, not just. I mean, if you stride too much, you're going to be doing the splits, aren't you? So.
Yeah, but when people are running fast, that's what they look like. They look like they're just absolutely chewing the ground up in front of them. So yeah, it was quite interesting to see that. And if you do the stride underneath you, then that leads you to hit the front of your foot, like on your toes. And then when you start doing that at first, suddenly your calves burn. And that's what made me start working my calves, because I was like, wow, my calves are suddenly the weak point.
I'm not sure if it's actually the calves that are the weak point. They're going through a lot, but you just need to stretch them and take care of them afterwards. I'm not sure that strengthening them is what you need to do.
Okay.
What you need to do is work on the engine room muscles, like your core and your glutes, because they will help.
Okay.
Yeah, your butt.
My engine butt. Okay, got to work my engine
butt. You need an engine butt.
But I have to say the side effect of that was my calves are looking pretty sick. Like I've never worked my calves out before. And like it really does, it makes your leg shape look all like cartoony.
Are you looking like Bob Kelso from Scrubs?
Oh, that is.
Do you remember that when he jumps into it says he jumps into a helicopter?
That may not be him though. That might have been a stand-in.
I think it probably was a leg double.
It might have been, but yeah, it's quite amazing. Like when you concentrate on a muscle, and as long as you're eating protein or whatever, for a man. Sorry, I'm being a bit testosterone centric here. I don't know if it's all men, but I tend
Women need protein as well.
But if I concentrate on a muscle, I do see like growth in it straight away. Yeah, I do see the growth like on it pretty easily, which makes me feel extra bad because I'm like, oh, I could have done this at at any time. I've just been a horrifically lazy bastard.
Well, you didn't like to say, but yes.
I want to talk to you guys about gyms. We're 16 minutes in. We're going to stay on fitness for a bit. This is Doomscrolling, so we are going to talk about the things that are making us super angry. But we like to start with a little bit of, just stuff from our life to start with. I joined a gym in May, something like that. I don't know, sometime around the COVID-y lifting of restrictions. And this gym, like all gyms, was doing things like you wear masks in and around the complex, the building, in between machines. They had screens up, so like sweat screens, so even like your heavy breathing was going into a perspex screen, and it was kind of like, okay, that's fine. I mean, the restrictions have lifted. It's not perfect, but we can get back into this. Then when we had Freedom Day in the UK, I don't know if you probably didn't catch this, Matt, but we had like Freedom Day, as if like, tiny bits of cloth and sensible restrictions was holding us back. It was suffocating us. We had Freedom Day, and this gym just completely just gave up. It just gave up. It like tore everything down, as if like, oh yeah, we can finally be rid of the... And it was like a few bits of perspex. It didn't make any difference. There was no reason to take them down, but they immediately did it. It felt symbolic, and then I just got a bit fed up with it and ended up sacking it off.
Yeah, it would not, from the point of view of over here, it would not be an encouraging sign to me if they just said, yeah, we're done with trying.
Yeah,
we're just going to give up and let it burn.
So I must admit that, against my instincts, I did kind of stick with it for a bit, and I felt increasingly uncomfortable, but I would go at the quiet times, and I would still try and be like socially distant. And I would go at times where I knew that in the room I was going to, there would be one or two people. But the atmosphere in the end, Lauren, on top of I heard lots of people like talking about scamdemic. There was very much that culture going on, but it was also a very steroidy environment as well. And like you could see, like you've been a member of a gym, you can tell the difference between genuine, fit, normal people and the people who get like jacked up.
Well, yeah, because I worked in the gym for some time.
Oh, did you?
I was part of the communications for the university gym, essentially. So I was kind of working within the gym building, and you could tell who those mostly chaps were. They would be the ones that would get very angry over very small things, and they normally had quite bad skin. There's a look, and you can sort of spot them a mile off. Like if you ask them to put their weights back, they would just kind of lose it, and they're like, yeah.
So you see,
luckily, few and far between at the gym that I worked at.
I was going to ask, did you just ask them that for fun?
Luckily, I didn't have to. I just heard the horror stories of my colleagues who had to interact with these particular people.
Yeah, and there is an aggression level with those guys, and you see it in the gym. They don't just do their reps. They like, "Hua, hua," and like part of the rep is control. So like you lift the weight up and then you put it down. And yet with those guys, like they throw it down. Like on the final, like on the 10th rep, it's like smash down on the ground. Their dumbbell gets flung there. I'm amazing. And you just go, geez. And they weren't shy about it. They were talking about it as if they were talking about like what phone they were going to get or what mobile network you should be on. They're like, oh, have you tried Roid 742 or whatever? Oh, no, that one makes me sleepy. Or, oh, that one makes me this. And they were just talking about it like it was their favorite candy. It was nuts.
Jeez.
Yeah. And
I've not come across many people like that. I really haven't. I've been quite lucky with the gyms that I've been a member of.
Oh, okay. Well, you must go to nicer gyms than this one. So I'm glad I've made the decision to leave. But I'm sure there are women out there who find that kind of steroid look attractive. I'm sure there are. But to me, it always feels like the male equivalent of like those lip filler collagen things. Is that too harsh? I don't know.
Oh, I mean, each their own. Everyone has their own type, but it would be massively off-putting to me anyway. I mean, I'm all for going to the gym and doing it for mental health reasons, for fitness reasons. But when you're starting to inject crap into your body but then you're also that person who will not have a vaccination because it's injecting crap into your body.
Yeah.
Then it's not really for me.
I suspect that Venn diagram is a circle. Matt, were you laughing at the same comment that I was laughing at in the chat? Is it Mark's comment you were laughing at?
Yeah.
Testosterone and small things. Name a more iconic duo. Says Mark. Hey, look! Don't get me wrong. If I could click my fingers and look just magically like The Rock or Ryan Reynolds, I'd take that on. I wouldn't.
Those
mind
are two
that at
very
all.
different body types you've just said there.
Yeah, I know. Ryan Reynolds is like just a sleek god, isn't he?
I mean, to me, that's a more attractive body type. It's the chaps who
Yeah.
can't put their arms down.
Because they've
It's
got
like,
the lats.
Yeah, it's just like they just walk around like this. It's just like, how do you do stuff?
Like they're
You can't
holding
even-
carpets. So
can't put your arms
I'm
down.
quite encouraged that Mrs. Spanners doesn't seem to cover that body type. We were at Centre Parks about 5-6 years ago. So we've got a little ones. We've got like a 5-year-old maybe and a toddler at the time, and we're in the kiddies play area. So it's all parents in there with their kids, and we're all tired. Everyone's just downing coffee from the fact that they're tired because from the night before they finally got the kids to bed and all got just absolutely obliterated at the kiddie disco. So we're in this kind of pool area, and this guy walks in. He's full on like gym god, like really just not an inch of fat on him. Just he's tearing muscle as he walks, and he walks in, and obviously every dad with their dad bod is looking around, going, "Oh, damn it. Great. Now I have to feel depressed for the entire time he's here." My wife turns to me, looks at me and went, "Well, he doesn't change many nappies, does he?" Because the amount of time that you would need to get in that shape, she just instantly recognized, like, if I was with him, I would be having to do everything with the kids. So that was somewhat encouraging.
I think she's got a point.
Maybe. Or either that or she's being very kind, Matt. It could be that.
It could be, but I've had and heard for the longest time similar sentiments from his Trumpets
Oh, okay.
about that particular weightlifter body, not even weightlifter, bodybuilder body type. You know what I mean? I think Chris Hemsworth is about as far as you might go in that direction before it becomes just like, no, not going there.
So there's a very real possibility that you and I and our wives could be within the next 9 months socializing with Ryan Reynolds. That
is true.
That's an actual possibility for a specific event. And my wife has not made similar comments that she did to Centre Park. She did not react with "ugh, Ryan Reynolds." In fact, she's very enthusiastic to meet Ryan Reynolds. So that's a bit upsetting.
Yeah,
it's understandable.
Stupid tall people.
He's a very beautiful man, to be fair.
So you'll be all right, Matt, because you're like 6'8" or whatever. So you'll be fine. Standing next to him.
Freaking giraffe.
Like a giraffe. Whatever. Right, let's move on. Let's go on to I don't have any specific bumpers, but what we do here is we do some doom scrolling topics, and Lauren has a blog which is called girlrunninglate.com. That's right, isn't it? That's good.
Correct.
And I do love clicking on your blog and reading it because you're a very good writer.
Reading it.
I do. Right, okay. Honestly, since Netflix has come along, my reading may have regressed, but I enjoy it. And then there comes a certain point where I go, "Oh, I've read like a bunch of words now. I'm just going to scroll and get the gist." But for long form fitness blogging, it is amazing. It is fantastic, and I have gone back and read stuff. And you're not like a every week blogger, but I think when you get like the rush and the inspiration on a topic, you really get a hold of it and you dive so deep into it.
Yeah, I'm not going to be one of those people like every run they do. It's like, "Oh, I went for a run tonight, did this, felt like that, done."
I had a
It's
sandwich,
no point.
and then I had toast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's sweated X amount. It's just that's not what's interesting to me. So I'll just be inspired by either a specific event that I've done that I've never done before. I'm really interested in the mental side of running because that catches me out more than the physical side. And I'm quite sort of hot on women in sport generally, and just sort of talking about when sort of women are discriminated against or not.
One of your early blogs was talking about women not being allowed to run the same distances as men.
Oh, you mean historically? Yeah. They were worried that apparently that women's uteruses might fall out if they ran too far.
Okay, is that
That was a thing back in however long ago, and the women's marathon didn't come into the Olympics until the 80s. I don't think it's really recent.
I still love the story. So wasn't there someone who snuck into the Boston Marathon and they
Catherine
tried to kick her
Switzer.
out? Yeah.
Catherine Switzer. There's Google her. There's these amazing photos of this man, Jock somebody, I think, trying to pull her off the course, and all of her her boyfriend at the time fighting him off and trying to let her go because she signed up with her initials, so they didn't know she was a woman.
Tell us the whole story then. So she just snuck into the Boston Marathon.
Well, she didn't. So there were two women. Catherine Switzer's the one whose name, I think the other one might have been Bobby somebody. It's terrible. I can't remember her name. And she actually snuck in. She hid behind a bush. And then when the race started, she just leapt up and ran. So she was the first woman to ever do the Boston Marathon. And then Catherine Switzer was the first official one in that she signed up, but she signed up as KV Switzer so that the people didn't know that she was a woman, turned up to the race, started running it. And then they spotted her, tried to drag her off the course, and her boyfriend beat off the officials and she finished. Okay,
that could be construed many ways, but she did finish the race, and then did that pave the way?
It started a movement, and actually I was
going to say, did they look at her and go, well, your uterus is still there, so I guess...
They sort of just put their hand up, it's all good, it's not falling out. But the chap who tried to drag her off the course, he actually became a real advocate for women's running in marathons. He sort of saw the error of his ways, and they sort of campaigned together, and the rest is history, really.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Women are doing all sorts of things these days.
It's worth Googling those stories. They're really, really interesting.
One recent topic that you Googled, that you wrote about, is something that us men would be less affected by and would tend not to think about because we are essentially awful and perverts. So when it comes to... Well, no, look, Matt, don't seem offended. Deep down...
Sorry, you said something?
Well, I'm just saying we're instinctively perverts that need to be frankly corrected. And there was quite a big fuss over the women's beach volleyball team. And you did a blog broadly more talking about general athletic wear for professional elite women in sport. And it's very easy for old men, middle-aged men like me and Matt to go, oh, beach volleyball. And that was kind of what it was marketed on, to be fair, Lauren, wasn't it? It was like, hey, beach volleyball, these women, they're in bikinis and playing sport. I mean, the NFL does... Oh, Matt, what's the one in the NFL? They do like women's NFL bikini football, don't they? And have you not seen that, Lauren? It is...
No.
Don't Google it. That will be your
doomscrolling
thing. Yeah.
They do American football in bikinis.
Yeah. And
how is everything staying put?
Well, they've got helmets, and I don't know the logistics of the...
Not the helmets. It's about if you're wearing a bikini.
Don't get angry at me. It's Matt's country.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The physics of it are mind-boggling.
But clearly, there is marketing that is aimed at the weak, pervy male gaze. But actually, it's a real issue. I've spoken to female runners who have done elite running as youths, and then they've kind of felt uncomfortable but gone with it when they're younger, and then when they look back they go, oh my goodness, the women's costumes or even these young girls' costumes for running events, for cross-country events, are sort of oddly sexualized.
Well, I think the specific issue with the Norwegian beach volleyball team was that it is actually written in the rules that they had to be the band of the bikini bottoms had to be a certain width.
And no more.
Exactly. So it is very, very specific. The cut of the underwear was really specific. And then if you look at the men's team, they're wearing vests and longish shorts. And for me, the argument isn't about covering women up. It's giving women a choice to wear what they are comfortable wearing when they compete. So, there are plenty of female runners who are comfortable wearing the sort of the running knickers, for want of a better word, and a crop top. That's what they choose to wear. They feel aerodynamic in it. That's great. There are other women who prefer to wear leggings and a vest top or a crop top and longer shorts. And that's great too, but it's giving them the choice. That's what matters. And for me, if I was younger and I saw beach volleyball and you had to wear a certain outfit, I would not have got into that sport because I would have been way too self-conscious to wear something that revealing. So anything that might put young women off doing sport is problematic.
Yeah, and
Simple as that.
and that I think it's not just beach volleyball. If you look at any track day, the kind of standard expected things that these young girls are wearing is incredibly like exposing. Like you would feel very vulnerable. Like the guys doing the 100-meter sprint aren't there in like speedos, but yet that feels like that's the equivalent for young girls and young women.
But again, I think the difference there is that it's not written in the rules. They can choose what they want. If you go to plenty of local competitions, you will see girls in vest tops and shorts. So there is a choice element there. I guess there might be some running clubs that kind of encourage a certain way of dressing, but I'm pretty sure there's no kind of hard and fast rule that you must wear this when you compete in this sport, apart from the beach volleyball.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But and then your blog kind of goes into that kind of detail, but it's things that guys like us just never have to think about, but whereas women are much more, they're judged if they do, and they're judged if they don't as well, because it would attract equal negative attention, as in the case of the Norwegian volleyball team when they kind of took a stand. Suddenly it was news. The world knew about it. It's like, why is it news that they chose to do that?
Well, I think the trouble is the majority of sports journalists are still male. And so these stories have been told through the male gaze for a very, very long time. And until we get more women in this industry and talking about it, I think it will still continue to be a problem. It's a bit like when like that recent footballer came out as gay as well, and that made headlines everywhere. And it's like, how on earth is this a headline story? And it's because it's against the norm. So until we start sort of normalizing these things, it's going to continue making headline news. And actually, in the case of the Norwegian beach volleyball team, it's important that it made headline news because that needed to be fixed.
Yeah.
And it worked.
It worked? How did it work?
It was in the news a couple of days ago. I think they've basically just said, right, we're going to take this rule out. You'll be able to wear your shorts and your crop tops if that's what you're more comfortable with. So your butt cheeks aren't hanging out all the time.
Yeah.
We're back to butts again.
Yeah, we're back to butts.
Gone full circle.
No one wants to see you and me, Matt, in a Top Gun scenario with our butts hanging out playing beach volleyball. Maybe.
Hey, everyone has a kink. They might want to see that. Don't judge. Don't judge.
So I have very limited experience with beach volleyball, except that our troop on a fairly mundane tour, somewhere hot, but nowhere particularly hairy or dangerous. Sort of place where, yes, you had to go on patrols and you had to do army type stuff, but there was a lot of downtime also. So they arranged a volleyball tournament, beach volleyball, sand volleyball tournament for all the troops, all different regiments and nations. Our troop was in charge of the court, and the guy who ordered the sand just ordered sand from a local person. Ordered enough sand to fill a volleyball court for this tournament. He ordered construction sand rather than like beach sand. So as soon as you dived on it, it absolutely tore your legs apart. So it became like a battle of wills in this tournament. Who was prepared to dive on this construction sand that was going to like just tear your knees apart? And Matt, it may surprise you to learn that it turns out I'm quite competitive.
Really?
When it comes to sport. Yeah. So the only reason me and my
genuinely surprised me there.
The only reason me and my team got quite far, in fact, we got to the final, was because a lot of the teams ended up going, oh man, this is too much. I'm like tearing my skin up. But I just kept going, and I was yelling at my team because I was the ranking NCO in my team. So I could yell at them. I could all but order them to just dive and get in there. And then we finally came up against a team more insane than us, which was Gurkha Regiment soldiers who finally defeated us in the final. That's my only beach volleyball experience. So 100% record of getting to beach volleyball finals. There we go.
Congratulations.
Matt, what's making you doom scroll, buddy?
Well, I think, for me, the thing that I saw that has just driven me absolutely bonkers is this back to work movement, where the company says, if you don't come back to the office, we're going to pay you less, even though you're working from home and you're paying for more of the office-y kind of stuff that we normally pay for.
Yeah, they would normally provide a desk and aircon and a parking space and pens,
Internet.
that kind of thing. So when you're working from home, a lot of people have had to maybe give up part of their apartment for that space, get their own supplies in, get a printer in, make sure they've
Cameras.
got proper internet, cameras and stuff. So what firm was this? This was Google.
This would be Google. Yeah, I have a great little article. I think it was from Wired UK. And basically, he said they're going to give us a pay cut if we don't come back to the office. And people who've said we're not coming back to the office have already gotten a pay cut, even though Google is still full remote because COVID isn't entirely over yet, and they haven't brought anyone back to the office. I mean, it's just like the worst possible behavior by the company. So they're like, okay, fine, and they're looking for other jobs now.
Lauren, you've moved to a lot of remote working. How have you found it? You've obviously, like you've said, you've finally moved into your own office. Weren't you doing most of your work in your conservatory covered with cats?
No, I was, for the first year, I was actually on my sofa because we live in quite a small house and my husband's working from home as well. And we couldn't share the office because he's in meetings all day. So if
So
both of us
he got
had to
the
be in
office?
meetings, so yeah, he's upstairs in the study. I sat down here. Occasionally I went to the conservatory when the weather was perfect because conservatories are rubbish, and if it's too hot you can't go in there, if it's too cold you can't go in there. So like 5 days out of the year I could go in there. And then we finally bought myself this little desk which is in the living room, so that's the telly, that black square behind me is the telly. So it's not perfect, but it's much better than it was.
But for you guys who, I mean, you're single, you don't have kids, so it's you two, and you have a house that fits you two and the things you need to do, which is go to sleep and then hang out in the living room and watch movies. You've had to adapt your whole work environment to work. So you're pretty much in this situation that these guys are talking about. Have your work responded to that well, though? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, or are they like, wow, no, it's your problem now? You either come in or take a pay cut.
No, they've been absolutely brilliant. Both of our companies have been really super flexible. I've only been into the office once throughout the whole pandemic because I had to be there. We were doing a photo shoot, but as long as you're getting the work done and it's obvious you were getting the work done, then they're quite happy.
And that's the thing. I mean, the work has been done the entire time, and suddenly the company's like, well, you're not in an office, so we're going to take 25% off of your paycheck. Period. End of. No discussion. And it just, there was a beautiful primate study done years ago where they had two monkeys do the same task, and they gave one monkey the extra super reward and the other one not the extra super reward. And the monkey that got the lesser reward literally grabbed their project and pitched it out the bars at the experimenters because of the unfairness of it. And this is really what it strikes me as. And it just, I mean, there's a lot of unfairness in the world, but when Google's like, oh, you can do all your work at home, but we're making you come to the office. And if you choose to work from home, then we are going to give you a pay cut. It's just like, well, is rubbish the correct word over there?
Rubbish,
I think it is.
yeah.
That's a very polite word to use.
Yeah, I've honed in on something though. Something I wasn't quite aware of. So you and Mr. Lauren are both working from home.
Yeah.
Okay. So how have you found that? Because me and my wife are also both doing most of our work from home at the moment. And what I find is we interact with each other's normal breaks like too much. So if I leave the shed just to use the bathroom or to get some food, or get a cup of coffee, I get derailed. I get completely right, you're here. Now we can talk about what we're planning to do with this. I spoke to Auntie Jeff about the holiday in 2 years' time that we need to talk about now. And I've just found like my day just gets stretched out. It's worse than co-workers.
No, I think it's only because he's in meetings for so much of his working day that there aren't actually big gaps where that can happen. So we tend to sort of be able to get a head down and get on with it. So.
Oh, okay. And what about you, Matt? You tend, I've heard, in fact, from Amanda, she says, no, Matt just locks himself away and that's him done. Gone.
Yeah, I go to the office, I close the door, and then I emerge occasionally when nature calls.
How'd you get away with that? I would get yelled at a lot.
Because my wife is busy when she's working from home.
Oh, I see. Right, that's the difference. I'm a freelance I'm a freelance presenter bum, so.
And also, I have all my iRacing stuff in the office.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. I need to move my iRacing stuff out of the shed. That's the problem, because when she has my shed, no access to sim.
Nothing to do but actually take care of the children.
Yeah,
That's a tragedy.
and feed them. Okay, so speaking of taking care of the children, yesterday when I had to be a super sub for the radio station, I get up off the bench and go and do a job, go and hold that midfield up, right? The problem we had was, for the whole evening, it was an evening shift on the radio. The most of the evening from from 4 till 7:30, my wife is working in the shed streaming. So when they said, okay, go do this cover shift, I was like, okay, we can do it, but it means trusting the children in the house on their own to not set fire to the house. And I don't know what New York kids are like, Matt, but my kids are not, they're house cats. They're not feral. They're not independent. Right. We generally don't tend to, okay, put it this way. With my kids, we tell them that they're allowed to go out and do whatever they want. So we literally say to them, like, you have the whole estate up to this certain road, which is like a huge area. Go play. Take your scooters, go play. And they're like, and do what? And I'm like, no, I don't care. Like, don't go out with a plan. Just go.
Yeah, it's a little bit different to when I was a kid, for sure. And yeah, especially in New York, there's not a lot of, oh yeah, you at age 8 or 9, yeah, just go outside and play. Just be sure you're home in time for dinner. That doesn't really quite happen like that.
I don't think it does happen, but we're all me and Lauren, you're a little younger than me, Lauren, I think. But like, just a little bit.
A squeak younger.
I'm 41. Are we allowed to?
I'm 40 next year.
Oh, okay. So more or less, we're in the same zone. But like when you were a kid, Lauren, the argument was always like, please, can I go and do more? Like we were wrestling more and more freedom from our parents. Right. Whereas now, the opposite is like, I'm trying to force my children to go, here's the freedom, take it, go.
Yeah, we would be outdoors until it's literally like, go outdoors, come home for dinner, and we'd just be out all day, just doing stuff.
Yeah.
You just like go into the woods and just like muck around in there and come back and do some rollerblading and then go to the hill and roll down it, We would
know every square inch, like every patch of concrete, every bubble, Matt. We would know every single part of our estate.
Yeah, no, we had woods. We'd roam for miles. We'd be gone till the light ended. But it's one of those things. When I was a kid, we had 3 channels.
Yeah.
Books, or you went outside and did something with your friends. And this is like one of my favorite history things. Like the entire history of amazing human achievement is basically how boring was it when you were alive?
Yeah. And this is it. And I think the kids they like our house. And I hated our house when we were at home. It was like a prison almost. You're like, oh, there's nothing to do here.
But think about it. They've got 9 gazillion channels. 100 handheld games. They can talk to their friends on their devices any second they want. It's just like, it's not the same at all.
That's a good point. So at any moment in our house, there is a WhatsApp group call just initiating. And then she'll run. It's the girl mostly. She'll run and she'll get it. And she's like, oh, I'm speaking to Charlotte and Ebony. And we're all like chatting on a thing and you can hear them chatting away. So that's kind of like the social life. But also the house isn't boring. There's things to do. It's not just a gazillion channels. It's the fact that they can just select whatever series they're watching at will and just pick it up wherever they want it. So we forced them during half term. We went, you will go out. Go. And we kicked them out of the house and just went, go play. They came back in 15 minutes. I'm like, 15 minutes? That's all they managed. You know what I mean? Like we kicked them out. So like, I even said, like, just get in trouble, just do something. And they came back within 15 minutes. But the reason I'm saying all this is because, they are not the same independent, feral 10, 11-year-olds that we were as kids. So when I was a kid, the limit was, how far will my bicycle take me? And then I can still get back by dark. And that was it. And that was 10, 11, easily. So the decision to like leave them in the house on their own for a couple of hours while she's in the shed, So if the house is on fire, as it frequently is, thank you, Matt. Thanks for reminding me. They could go and knock on the studio door and knock on the shed and everything. But we just had to trust them to not answer the door, not set the house on fire. And that was a reasonably big decision because, I don't know, modern children are idiots and they can't go 5 minutes without our specific efforts to keep them alive.
So this is like a hilarious, you'll get to this eventually, but as you know, my daughter is now in her last year of high school.
Impossible, but okay. No, your daughter is 7.
Teen.
No, but she's 7. She's Roxy Cat on whatever.
In my mind and in my Google photo albums, that's mostly what she is.
Do you know my daughter, Vivi, she's 9 now. She will always be 2. She will always be 2, just about walking well enough to waddle near a swimming pool. She will always be 2.
Yeah. And so Halloween has always been a big deal. In our neighborhood, it was huge. We'd have thousands of people come through our neighborhood. And it was always a big deal to get her dressed up and to send her off with her friends. And then as she got older, she could go with her friends by herself and come home with bags of candy that we'd eat most of when she wasn't looking because she didn't really pay close attention back then.
Parent tax. See what you're missing out on, Lauren? Stealing candy from babies.
You buy your own candy and eat it all.
If you're going to throw facts in our face, Matt.
And this was her last Halloween at home.
Yeah.
Because she's off to college next year. And she made dresses. She made, she and her friend went as the Haynes sisters from White Christmas.
Yeah, I saw.
She made the dresses for the both of them. But instead of going out trick-or-treating, she's like, actually, a classmate is having a party. We're going to go to the party. And this is the bit that I love about my daughter and about all these kids. And she told my wife very seriously, Mom, I think there'll probably be drugs and alcohol at this party. And I just want you to know that before I go.
What?
Like, what did you think? I never went to a party when I was in high school? That's like mostly all our high school was.
I mean, yeah. Have you admitted that to your kids?
Well, ish, yeah.
So
I mean, I'm not the full laundry list of potential felonies I might have committed when I was younger. No.
Okay. So, when it comes to actual crimes and getting into trouble, my kids' favorite story time is Dad tells them about the times that we got in trouble and had to run away from police or whatever and stuff. So, and this will be a good one to end on, I guess, which is I haven't confessed to the drinking or the other stuff or whatever, or the ways we used to amuse ourselves from 13 onwards. But I did confess to them that we went through a period of being very fascinated with fire and what you could do with a lighter and aerosol can. So, and a bottle of Swan Vesta petrol. Right. So, like, you could, pour your Swan Vesta, not petrol, what's it called? It's like lighter fluid. Alcohol? Yeah, lighter fluid. So you could spray it on a wall and in a big line and then light it and it would light up on the wall and then that kind of deteriorated into classroom. So you'd put a bit in like a circle around the classroom, a little like line of it around people's desks and then set fire to it. And then you'd get a little flame going through, but it didn't really burn the carpet because it's just burning the petrol. So it was just like a bit of a spectacular kind of thing, I'm not alone.
Well,
yeah.
No, I want to tell you about chemistry class, but first I got to ask, did you ever make a hand grenade when you were a child?
No, but we did make a flamethrower, which is the story I had confessed to the kids, which is everyone did it, a can of like Lynx deodorant and a lighter, right, Lauren? You never did it. Oh, God.
It's useful against bugs too.
I was a very nerdy kid.
But my friend, who I won't name, called Chris, ended up doing that at a hedge, and it was like a mature hedge border on a garden of an elderly woman who could not like spend the time growing a new hedge, and his parents ended up having to pay £4,000 to get this hedge completely replaced because he'd burned it down, and the police were involved in everything.
Catching things on fire, man.
As far as the police were concerned, I wasn't there, so that's fine. No, totally was him. It totally was him. Sorry, Matt, you were going to end on a chemistry thing.
Well, yeah. Aside from the hand grenade that we built, that
Wait,
mostly
what?
worked.
Hang on, what?
Yeah, hand grenade.
Actually,
Yeah. Out of
Black powder from bullets we took apart, and a dowel and a nail and like some primer.
This is America. Where did you
I
get
was gonna say
and then you
American
throw it,
culture.
and then it doesn't go off, and then you get really concerned about what you should do next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should definitely have bullets lying around. That's a good idea.
Just taking
you
apart
know.
bullets.
Yeah.
I think we made the black powder. We got the saltpeter and the potassium and stuff from a chemistry supply house. I don't know. My friend did most of the actual doing of that. We mostly just went around and figured out what we wanted to chuck it at.
Hopefully not people.
Well, no, just inanimate objects as we were roaming around late at night. But did you have the gas taps in chemistry class?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you ever fill up one of the sinks and cover it with books?
No.
No.
And then did you ever pull the books off and use the alcohol burner to light all of the gas off at once?
No, I think.
Okay, well, if you do, just make sure the ceiling is tall enough, because ours is pretty tall and it got pretty scorched, but thankfully didn't catch fire.
My goodness. Have you got any stories to share of what you got up to in chemistry class? I probably could share one or two more about what we did with some chemicals and Zippo lighters, but unfortunately our time has come to an end. Please go and follow Lauren, not in real life. Go and follow Lauren. You're in Ely, so you can take a punt. It's a medium-sized town, though, so...
It's a city, dude.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
Got a cathedral, haven't we?
That's a technicality.
Rude.
Colchester should be a city, but it's not.
That's because you were there.
It's bigger. Anyway.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, go on. What? Defend Ely?
No. It's got a cathedral. It's great. It's a ship of defence.
Elitism.
Spot it from miles away.
You are Girl Running Late everywhere. So search Girl Running Late or Lauren Thomas and you can find your stuff. And you will continue to blog. I assume you're not fed up and bored of it.
Nope. I'll keep doing it for the foreseeable.
Excellent. Go and search Girl Running Late, girlrunninglate.com, and search for Lauren Thomas. Matt is here on the internet as well, at MattPT55. You can email Matt. What's your email address with us? Matt at missedapex.net. Yeah.
Maybe.
Matt at missedapex.net. I'm Spanners at missedapex.net. Or you can email us both. If you do feedback at missedapex.net, it comes through to both of us. And you can see who replies first. Spoiler. Matt.
Not me.
Oh, really? Oh, do you not reply either? There's me thinking you were handling. I thought you were handling that. Oh, well, in any case.
We'll sort that out eventually, we promise, babe.
Our Twitter for this show is still apparently at Indoors Remain. Don't judge me. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back hopefully next Thursday. Until then, work hard, be kind, have fun, and keep doomscrolling. It's okay to be angry. It's a normal human response. It's normal to stare at your phone at the expense of your personal relationships. Right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping so. Stay doomscrolling. Bye! It's no use saying bye, and then now our pictures are still on the live streams. I've got to get rid of those. That's no good. Lauren's gone. You're okay. There we go. Good. We're out of here. I can mute. Bye. See you later.